friends. John Doe here, and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft, I guess. Today I'll be reading the rest of the Cast of Amontillado. I might start part way in, however, I was going to give you I'm going to start part way in. If you want to listen to the first part, watch the episode called Cast of Amontillado, and read the description to about where you'll have to skip to. I think I'm going to update the description. It'll probably already be updated to the exact moment in time where you need to skip. I don't know how to bookmark spots you can skip to for when the story actually starts. But I might also start before, or not before, but at a little bit before where I finished reading. So yeah. And the motto: Nemo me impune lactalis. I did not pronounce that right whatsoever. Oh, good, he says. The wine sparkled in his eyes, and then bells jingled. My own fancy grew warm, which, with the Medoc. I have no idea what Medoc. Oh, Medoc's still kind of wine. That's what it is. We had passed through walls of piled bones with cracks and puncture, punctions. I think that's how it's pronounced. Intermingled into the innermost recesses of the catacombs. I paused again, and this time I made bold to seize Fortunato by the arm. There we go. By an arm above the elbow. Night ray, I said. See, it increases. It hangs like moss upon the vaults. We are below the river's bed. The drops of moisture trickle among the bones. Come, we will go back. It is too late. Your cough. It is nothing, he said. Let us go on. But first, another draught of the Medoc. I broke and reached him a flagon of de Grave. He emptied it at a breath. His eyes flashed with a fierce light. He laughed and threw the bottle upwards. With a gesticulation I did not understand. Okay, I have no idea what gesticulation means. I looked at him in surprise. Repeated the moment, a grotesque one. One second, my phone stopped one. There you go. A grotesque one. There you go. You do not comprehend? He said. No, not I replied. Then you are not of the Brotherhood. How? You are You are not of the Masons. Yes, I said. Yes. You impossible. A Mason? A Mason, I replied. A sign. He said, a sign. It is this, I answered, producing the trowel from beneath the folds of my roquelaire. You jest, he exclaimed, recoiling a few paces. But let us proceed to the Amontillado. Be it so, I said, replacing the tool beneath the cloak, and again offering him my arm. He leaned upon it heavily. We continued our route in search of the Amontillado. We passed through a range of low arches, descended, passed on, and descending, again arrived at a deep crypt, in which the foulness of the air caused our flame books rather to glow than flame. There we go. At the most remote end of the crypt, there appeared another less spacious. Its walls had been lined with human remains, piled to the vault overhead, in the fashion of great catacombs of Paris. 3 sides in the interior of the crypt were still ornamented in this manner. From the 4th side, bones had been thrown down and lay precariously upon the earth, forming at one point a mound of some size. Displacing of the bones, we perceived a still inner recess in the depth, about 4 feet in width, 3 in height, and 6 or 7, it seemed to have been constructed for no special use within itself, but formed merely an interversal between two of the colossal supports of the roof, the catacombs, the roof of the catacombs, and was backed by one of their uh, circumscribing walls of the solid granite. It was in vain that Fortunato, uplifting his dull torch, endeavored to pry into the depth of the recess. Its termination the feeble light did not enable us to see. "Proceed," I said. "Herein is the amontillado. As for Luchesi, he is the ignoramus, I guess, interrupted my friend, as he stepped unsteadily forward, while I followed immediately at his heels. In an instant he had reached the extremity of the niche, and, finding his progress arrested by the rock, stood stupidly bewildered. A moment more I had fettered him to the granite, and in its surface were 2 iron staples, distant from each other of about 2 feet horizontally. From one of these descended a short chain, from the other a padlock. Throwing the links round his waist, it was but the work of a few seconds to secure it. He was too much astonished to resist. Withdrawing the key, I stepped back from the recess. "Pass your hand," I said, "over the wall. You cannot help feeling the nitrate. Indeed, it is very damp. Once more, let me implore you to return. No? Then I must positively leave you. But I must first render you all the little attentions in my power." "The Amontillado," he ejaculated. "The Amontillado," ejaculated my friend, not yet recovered from his astonishment. "True," I replied, "the Amontillado." As I said these words, I busied myself among the pile of bones, of which I had before spoken. Throwing them aside, I soon uncovered a quantity of building stone and mortar. With these materials, and with the aid of my trowel, I began vigorously to wall up. I began to wall up the entrance of the niche. I had scantily laid the first tier of the masonry when I discovered that the intoxication of Fortunato had in a great measure worn off. The earliest indications I had of this were the low moaning cry from the depth of the recess. It was not the cry of a drunken man. There was then a long and obstinate silence. I laid the second tier, and the third, and the fourth, and then I heard the furious vibration of the chain. The noise lasted for several minutes, during which I might hearken to it with the more satisfaction. I ceased my labors and sat upon the bones. When at last the clanking subsided, I resumed the trowel and finished, without interruption, the fifth and seventh, yeah, there you go, and fifth, sixth, and seventh tiers of the wall was now nearly upon a level with my breast. I again paused, and holding the flame-locks over the masonwork, threw a few feeble rays upon the figure within. A succession of loud and shrill screams, bursting suddenly from the throat of the chained form, seemed to thrust me violently back. For a brief moment I hesitated. I trembled. Unsheathing my rapier, I began to grope with it about the recess, but the thought of an instant reassured me. I placed my hand upon the solid fabric of the catacombs, and felt satisfied. I approached the wall, replied to the yells of him who I clamored. I re-echoed. I surpassed them in volume and in strength. I did this, and the clamor grew still. It was now midnight, and my task was drawing to a close. I had completed the 8th and ninth, and then the 10th tier. I had finished a portion of the last, and the 11th. There remained but still a single stone to be fitted and plastered in. I struggled with its weight. I placed it partially in its designed position, but now there came from the niche a low laugh that erected the hairs upon my head. It was succeeded by a sad voice, which I had difficulty recognizing, that of the noble Fortunato. The voice said, "Ha ha 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 ha! A very good joke indeed, an excellent jest. We shall have many rich laugh about it at the palazzo. Over our wine. The amontillado," I said. Yes, the amontillado. But is it not getting late? Will not they be awaiting us at the palazzo, the Lady Fortunato and the rest? Let us be gone. Yes, I said, let us be gone. And for the love of God, monsieur. Yes, I said, in the love of God. But to these words I hearkened in vain to reply. I grew impatient and called, "Fortunato." No answer. I called again, "Fortunato." No answer still. I thrust a torch through the remaining aperture and let it fall within. There came forth a reply, only a jingling of bells. My heart grew still on account of the dampness of the catacombs. I hastened to make an end of my labor. I forced the last stone into position, and I plastered it up. Again, new masonry. I erected the old rampart of bones. For half a century no mortal had disturbed them in place.